They call it the mistake by the lake. Are they talking about the city of Cleveland or this Sunday's football game?
You're listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast network.
Hello, Miami Dolphin fans, and welcome to the SAME OLD Dolphins Show, part of the DolphinsTalk.com podcast network. I'm Josh Katzker. With me today and every day is my brother from the exact same mother, Aaron the Brain. Aaron, say hello to the people.
Hello to the people.
What a week, huh? What a week we've had in Dolphin land. So the Dolphins lose to the Chargers, and then Tua sticks his foot in his mouth, and that just sets off this like maelstrom of talk and off-field drama. It's truly unbelievable. And I know that like there are a segment of people who want to just focus on the football, focus on what's going on the field. But when you have a team that is as dysfunctional as the Miami Dolphins, you can't ignore all the off-field nonsense, because the off-field nonsense is, I mean, in some ways more entertaining than the football product, frankly. But secondly, the football product doesn't exist in a vacuum. It exists in a world where that off-field drama is impacting what is going on in the field. No matter how much you want to, dismiss it, that kind of stuff impacts what's going on in the field. And it's quite clear through the first 6 weeks of this season that all of that off-field nonsense is seeping into the football product, Brain.
Yeah, maybe, or they just might suck. I don't.
That's
like,
you're right.
I don't really know. I mean, like, do I think that the fact that players are showing up late to optional team meetings, they're not like positional meetings, but they're just players only meetings. Do I think that that's the reason why they're losing games? No, I don't think that's the reason. Do I think they're losing games because they tore up their secondary and they have a bunch of new guys out there and they're playing rookies on the interior defensive line and they're not as good as Calais Campbell or as good as we thought they'd be, and that Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb are not playing as well as they were playing prior to their latest injuries, and that their defensive coordinator, for as much as he was talked up, is playing a relatively conservative defense that is trying to play bend but not break, and is allowing teams to drive right down the field virtually at will. And while we're doing a nice job of holding teams to field goals when they're in the red zone, we're also giving up a lot of long touchdowns where they don't even need to get into the red zone to score touchdowns. And we have one of the worst defenses in the league. Do I think that's because players are showing up late to players only meetings? No, I don't. I think they just suck.
I mean, yeah, it's hard to disagree with that. They do just suck, but there's a lot that goes into it, I think. And while it's not because players are showing up late to players only meetings that the team is struggling, I think the fact that players are showing up late to players only meetings is indicative of a deeper rot within the organization. And there's so much going on that is a symptom of the underlying problem, though it is not the problem itself. So this week has been a lot. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And then, of course, we will attempt to preview this dog of a game that we have coming up on Sunday when the Dolphins travel to Cleveland to take on the Browns. But first, a reminder to everybody, if you're not doing so already, to make sure that you are following us. You can follow me at Amplified to Rock on Blue Sky. He is at Aaron the Brain. The show is at Same Old Dolphins. You can also follow the Same Old Dolphin Show on Instagram. We've recently revived the Same Old Dolphin Show Instagram, so follow us there at Same Old Dolphins as well. Make sure you download, rate, review, and subscribe to the Same Old Dolphin Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, everywhere you get your podcast. Special shout out to everybody watching live on the Dolphins Talk YouTube channel. Shout out everybody who's watching us live. Let us know where you're watching from. If you're watching, and also take a moment, if you will, to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and make sure you turn on notifications so you're notified every time we go live. Additionally, make sure you are visiting DolphinsTalk.com each and every day. It is your one-stop shop for all things Miami Dolphins. And of course, we want to make sure we mention Dolphins Talk Extra, which is patreon.com/DolphinsTalk. You can join in the fun for extra podcast, bonus content. We'll also have next Friday night our Dolphins Talk Extra happy hour show where we bring on anybody who wants to. You can come on live with us and drive the conversation. It's an interactive, fun show that we're going to be doing. We've got more watch-alongs coming your way. So lots of stuff coming up here at Dolphins Talk Extra. You can join the fun for as little as $3 a month at patreon.com/DolphinsTalk. So join us over there as well. All right, let's see, Brain, let's dive in to the big thing right now on Thursday. The hot topic of conversation is Jalen Waddle trade speculation. There's been a lot of trade speculation. We've heard the teams are making calls on Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips. We've even heard that teams have called now on Devon Achane as well. But the thing that is picking up a lot of steam on Thursday was the news of a Jalen Waddle trade rumor, specifically that the New York Giants are pursuing a trade for Jalen Waddle. And, I am of the opinion at this point in time that there are very few guys on the current Miami Dolphins roster that I would be brokenhearted if the team were to part ways with. And part of that is that, look, I think realistically, you look at this team, we're probably a few seasons away from being in a competitive window. And, as this team is looking to rebuild, you're kind of having to evaluate, who are the guys that are on this team that are really going to be part of the next one. And sometimes you have to look at it from the perspective of, is this player more valuable to the Dolphins as a core component of the next build of the team, or as what you might get in trade compensation for said player? A player like Jalen Waddle, who is under contract and is performing at a high level, and we're seeing that he is truly capable of being a wide receiver one type player. That is somebody who, if you do move, you're going to get a pretty solid return from, you would have to think. But Brain, do you make anything of this? Do you make anything about these Jalen Waddle trade rumors? How would you feel if the Dolphins were to part ways with Jalen Waddle for trade stock?
I mean, I don't think he's untradeable. I think he's shown in the games without Tyreek Hill. It's a small sample size. I mean, he had his rookie year, and he had a very solid rookie year, devoid of a lot of big plays because he was in an offense that was, like a Pop Warner offense. And you had a guy like Jalen Waddle averaging like 9.75 or something yards per reception, which is pretty meager for a guy of Waddle's capabilities. But in 2 games, I mean, it's a small sample size of games that he's played without Tyreek Hill. It's basically 1 game in 2023 and the 2 games so far this year. In those 3 games, he's got 20 catches for 247 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he's over 17 yards per reception. Do I think he's a perfect receiver? No, I think he still has his lapses in hands. He makes some good catches. He also drops some catches that make you scratch your head, but he consistently gets separation. He can beat guys downfield. He has the speed to blow the top off of defenses. So he absolutely is a wide receiver one, and is shown in the limited opportunities that he's had to be that without Tyreek Hill on the field in a real offense, that he can be a wide receiver one. And you've got him under contract. Here's the thing with trading Jalen Waddle is that if you trade Jalen Waddle now or this offseason, you're going to eat a bunch of dead cap space, and you're actually going to lose cap space in it. So if you're going to trade him, I'm not saying he's not tradable, but you've got to get a great return back from him. That means it's got to be either a high leverage number one pick, meaning a number one pick that is probably going to be a top 10 pick. That could be the Giants, or a 1+ something. So look, I'm not saying he's not tradable right now. If the Giants want to give you a number one pick or a first round pick for next year's draft for Jalen Waddle, I don't have a problem with it. But I'm not.
So is that what it takes? Is that what it takes for you to trade Waddle?
If it's I would be asking for more than a number one. But if it's a Giants team that, look, they're trending in the right direction. They've got a couple wins since Jackson Dart took over under center. I still think the Giants are probably going to end up being a team with a top 10 pick or very close to it. If it came down to it and it was like, they're offering you a number one and they're like, take it or leave it, and you've been negotiating and you've been like, well, maybe you could throw us like a 4, in addition, I'd be trying to get whatever else I can. But if they're like, we're going to give you a number one pick for Jalen Waddle, I'm not saying that I would necessarily take it, but I wouldn't begrudge the Dolphins for doing it. I think it'd be a fair trade, and I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Like I said, I think Waddle is a guy that has value to the team now. He will have value to the team going forward. But, listen, in the immortal words of the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, everybody's got a price. So if the Giants meet the price, Jalen, thanks for being part of the team. I'm not gonna go delve into the Instagram drama of him, supposedly stripping his Instagram of any Miami Dolphins related, information, in terms of his bio or anything like that. That is a little bit of tinfoil hat stuff that's going on, but hey, listen, where there's smoke, there's fire oftentimes. So we'll just see what happens. Maybe.
What about
maybe
you? I put myself out there. I went out there. Are you trading Jalen Waddle? Let's say, same scenario. Giants offer a first round pick. You doing it?
Here's what I'll say. If the Dolphins are trading Jalen Waddle, I don't want Chris Grier helming that transaction. I don't want him being the guy.
But regardless of who's doing it.
But yeah,
let's say you're the GM. Let's say you're the GM.
It's tricky, right? Because Jalen Waddle is literally a first round pick. He's literally a first round pick, and you're getting the kind of production out of him that you would want to have from a first round pick. And now is the first time that you're truly getting a chance to see him kind of live up to that role that he was drafted to fill, right? Let's not overlook the fact that when the Dolphins drafted Jalen Waddle, he was drafted to become a wide receiver one. And it wasn't until, after his first season as a Dolphin that Tyreek Hill became available, and that completely changed everything for the franchise in terms of the trajectory that they were on. So, part of me feels like, well, you're getting a chance now to see him at his full potential right now. And so I guess I would need a lot to let him go, because what I would think about is, given the cap considerations, given that you would lose money and end up paying through the nose unless the team decided that they were going to, give you financial considerations in the trade. I don't know that a single first round pick would be enough for me.
Yeah. But you're also saving a lot in future money. Like you are going to eat a lot of dead cap right off the bat, but then you're also not going to be on the hook for, the cap number for 27 and 28 where he's owed, over $71 million.
Yeah.
And then you also have a void year that you've added on for over $9 million. So it's really like $80 million in void money, or $80 million in like future cap space that you're saving to lose what would essentially be like $7 or $8 million in cap space for next year, in a year that you're actively, like if you're trading Jalen Waddle, like you're actively going into a tank year. Anyway, I agree. I tend to agree. I think I'd be asking for more than a 1.
Yeah,
but
I think a 1 plus. If you get a 1 and a 3, I think we could be in business. Or a 1 and a 2 for sure. A 1 and a 3, I think we could be in business. But again, it wouldn't be my preference. But
yeah,
listen, I don't know that there is anybody on this current Miami Dolphins roster that I would really like to see them, like that I would truly be heartbroken if they were to move on from. I think the one guy that I think that they have that is really somebody who can be a franchise cornerstone in terms of like being at the heart of the next great Miami Dolphins team, if it's built correctly. I think a guy that is that possibility is Patrick Paul. I like what he is becoming. He seems like one of those guys as an offensive lineman that's really great. Devon Achane is a dynamic player and he's a great skill player, and the ceiling is very high with him, but based on the kind of player that he is not somebody that is going to be this kind of player that is as effective as he's been for very long. You're probably looking at a 3 to 4 year window with Achane. And so if they're looking at signing him to a new deal, and I guarantee you that is going to be, unless he is moved for whatever reason, that is going to be a primary focus in this offseason, is what is his next contract going to look like? Because I can guarantee you he's going to be demanding it.
Absolutely.
So, there aren't many players on this team that I would just say absolutely hands off, no way. Because, and a lot of that is just because of where the team is right now. There are players on this team with potential, but what you have is those players who had the potential. You're the Jalen Phillipses of the world, the Austin Jacksons of the world, at this point, I'd put Chop Robinson in there, although he still has plenty of time to redeem himself and could become something. But like, you've got those kind of players, those young players that we said at the beginning of the season, the goal was, let's figure out how many of those young players are going to be the ones that are part of this team going forward. And a lot of those guys are thus far pretty disappointing. And so you've got those guys, and then you have the leftovers from when you went all in. You've got guys, Bradley Chubb is somebody who I fully expect the Dolphins to move on from before the trade deadline, because why not? Like, get what you can from him. I think he has never quite performed to what the Dolphins paid for him. And with between his injuries and just his, the injury is the biggest thing for that. And so I think you've got guys like that who you can move on from, and then who else? Like Tua is a guy that, listen, you had hopes that Tua was going to be the guy to lead this franchise to glory, and it's become abundantly clear that is not who he is. He is not going to be the guy to do that. I don't care how much you like Tua Tagovailoa. It's like, the only way Tua Tagovailoa is leading this team to a Super Bowl victory is if they build a tremendous, incredible team all the way around him, and he can do the Trent Dilfer thing of winning a Super Bowl like that. And at this point, I'm not holding my breath that that's the case. So to me, I'd be very surprised if Tua Tagovailoa was part of this team going forward. So I don't know. I don't know that there are very many guys on this team at all that I think I would be completely hands off on in terms of open for business.
Yeah, I mean, I'm generally of the opinion that there's no such thing as, I mean, unless you have, like a Josh Allen type of player, like unless you have that type of player and he's a quarterback, I don't think that there's like any player that you ever have that you don't listen and take the phone call.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the untradeable players are Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
That's about it.
Yeah, yeah, kind of. So anyway, all right. Well, there's the trade rumor That's the trade speculation. Anything else? Anything else that we want to talk about?
No. You want to talk about this football game?
Do I want to talk about the football game, or are we going to talk about the football game?
I suppose we have to talk about the football game.
Yeah, I suppose we should. But before we do that, you know what I think what we should do, what is probably going to be a lot more fun than this football game, is talking about caneswear.com, which is the spot to get all of the latest and greatest gear for your South Florida college and pro sports team. So I'm talking Inter Miami, Florida Panthers. Florida Panthers talk about a team that's banged up right now. Florida Panthers, holy moly, is that team beat up? But you can still get their gear. We've got the Miami Heat getting ready. We're getting ready to talk some Miami Heat basketball. We might be talking Miami Heat basketball on Sods Extra tonight over at Dolphins Talk Extra. We might be talking a little Miami Heat basketball, but you want to get your gear for all of those teams, the Miami Hurricanes, whatever it is, caneswear.com is the spot to do it. Go to caneswear.com and you can get all the latest and greatest. And if you're a Dolphins Talk Extra member, by the way, you get a little discount over there at caneswear.com. So check that out as well. That's caneswear.com, caneswear.com. And of course, our friends at MyBookie. Listen, if you've been listening to Dolphins Talk podcast for all season long and you haven't gone to MyBookie and taken advantage of this yet, either you're just not a gambler, or you live in a state where gambling is not legal, or you're just not interested in free money. And, if one of those is the thing, then fine. But this is an opportunity. If you go to mybookie.com, if you've never signed up before, create an account, use our promo code Dolphins, and you get up to a $500 bet back bonus token, which basically means you can lay a wager on Sunday's game up to $500 in value. And if you don't win, you get all $500 back. Free money. So give it a shot. Try it out. That is over there at MyBookie using the promo code DolphinsTalk. All right, here we go. It is Dolphins. Thank you, Jordan Murray. Jordan Murray in the chat says, I have such a great commercial voice, and I appreciate that very much. Thank you. All right, Dolphins, Browns, Sunday. Let's just dive right into it. I think the matchup that is going to make or break, the only way the Dolphins are going to have a chance to win this game on Sunday is if they can somehow, some way hold Quinshon Judkins in check, because otherwise they're doomed. Because I think there is a world where he's going to run for 200 yards against the Dolphins. I foresee a long afternoon for the Miami Dolphins on Sunday in Cleveland. And I think Quinshon Judkins is going to be probably the primary culprit in terms of making it a miserable afternoon for the Miami Dolphins. But Brain, perhaps you have an idea of how this dreadful Miami Dolphins defense can slow that man down.
Yeah, it's called make Dylan Gabriel beat you. It's called put guys in the box, stop sitting back in coverage and playing this bend but don't break defense against an historically bad offense in the Cleveland Browns with a rookie quarterback who was a fourth round draft pick.
Yeah, I think he was third round.
Third round pick.
Former UCF Knight, by the way.
And a quarterback that, is basically making his hay by being a risk-averse quarterback. So make this guy, put the onus on the Cleveland Browns offense to have to push the ball down the field. Rasul Douglas is playing well. Jack Jones has been up and down. I wouldn't say that he's played well, but he's not a tremendous liability out there.
Yeah.
And put 7, 8 guys in the box and say, we're going to shut down your running game and we're going to make Dylan Gabriel beat you. This shouldn't be that difficult. It really shouldn't. At the end of the day, if Dylan Gabriel beats you because he's driving the ball down the field, throwing into tight windows, because Jerry Jeudy and Isaiah Bond are beating their guys downfield, then so be it.
Isaiah Bond.
That's how you lose the game. And that's fine. But don't lose this game because you're sitting back in conservative bend but don't break defense and you're giving up 150 yards rushing to Quinshon Judkins, who's the only guy
Harold Fannin Jr. beat you.
Yeah. I don't care. Make anybody else beat you. That's the point, is that I don't care if it's Harold Fannin Jr., if it's Jerry Jeudy, if it's Dylan Gabriel running the ball. Like, I don't care how it happens. The game plan should be to make somebody else beat you other than Quinshon Judkins.
I like it. That's absolutely right. I mean, this team has just been so bad when it comes to their run fits. It's been like, particularly in neutral situations. I said, as we looked back on the game against the Chargers, they said, they did improve in the short yardage situations, but it was the neutral situations that were just absolutely hilarious. Or
I asked them, don't give up 8 yards a carry. Can you give up 4 yards a carry? They gave up like 5.5.
So they almost got there.
I mean, the bar was set so incredibly low to improve. They improved, not by enough.
Yeah. Well, when you're so bad, like, a little bit of improvement isn't really that, like, it is improvement, and improvement is good, but it's like you've improved from terrible to bad. It's that kind of situation. So hopefully the Dolphins will be able to slow down that Browns rushing attack. And force Dylan Gabriel to beat you, as you said. Like, let's see if he can connect with Jerry Jeudy and Harold Fannin Jr. And I don't know that Njoku is going to play this game, but Fannin has really turned into something at the tight end position for the Browns. So we'll see. I mean, this is not a team that is bereft of weapons. It's a decent offense that just
it's not a decent offense.
It is a decent offense that doesn't have a quarterback, which makes it very difficult to have it be a good offense. That's all you need to know about it. So let's go to the other side of the ball, because this is the other area where where you got a problematic. Which Dolphins offensive lineman is going to be able to slow down Myles Garrett? We think Patrick Paul can slow down Myles Garrett.
I mean, we saw a little bit of that matchup. They played last year, right?
Yeah,
we saw a little bit of that.
The famous Snoop Huntley game.
Yeah, and Myles Garrett got the better of him for most of that game. I think what you'd hope for is that Patrick Paul would do a little bit better in the rematch, but also I think it'd be foolish to be calling a lot of plays where you're going to be expecting, where you're going to have Tua dropping back to pass, and you're going to have, whoever it is on an island against Myles Garrett. Like,
yeah,
you need to have a tight end there. You need to have a running back on his side, or the call's got to be going the opposite direction. You absolutely game plan away from Myles Garrett. It's a really good Cleveland Browns defense. It's not just Myles Garrett, but if there's one guy on that defense that you absolutely game plan around to, go the other way, it's Myles Garrett.
I think it's safe to say that Patrick Paul is a better player than he was at this point last year. He's had a little bit more experience. He's had more reps. He's completely transformed his body. So I'm very interested to see how that matchup goes. The other question is, against this very tough Browns defense, because this is an elite defense, are the Dolphins going to be able to run the ball, or are we going to have one of those games where the Dolphins, reach halftime and they barely touch double digits in terms of time of possession because they're going 3 and out, because they just can't get anything going on offense?
You can move the ball on the Browns. I mean, the Browns have a very good defense, but they're not you know, they're not like they're not like they're not like the Ravens Super Bowl winning defense or like the 85 Bears or like the Legion of Boom. Like, I mean, they played Pittsburgh last week and Aaron Rodgers was 21 for 30 for 235 and a couple of touchdowns. Jaylen Warren carried the ball 11 times for 52 yards. Like, they're not like, it's a good defense. Don't get me wrong. And
yeah,
it's a defense that's going to present problems, especially for a Dolphins offensive line that is shaky at best. But it's not a defense that's like, you know, that you can't move the ball against. You've got to be on your A game, because if you're not on your A game and you get behind the sticks, it's going to be it's not the kind of defense that you want to be in like 3rd and long against.
Exactly.
You've got to be on your A game. You've got to be efficient. You've got to not shoot yourself in the foot with stupid penalties. And you got to be opportunistic. And honestly, this is probably a game where you're going to probably see a lot of 3 and outs. And you're probably going to see possessions where you do get 1 or 2 first downs and then things stall out. And you're going to have to play field position. And, you know, that means complementary football. Does your defense get you the ball on a short field? Does your special teams get you the ball on a short field? Can you make a big play? You know, because you don't want to have to go 15 plays to score a touchdown against this defense. But can you hit the 1 or 2 big chunk plays that put you in scoring position? Can your defense or special teams put you on a short field? That's how you put up points against them. I think this is going to be a close, low-scoring game. It's going to come down to which team makes the big mistake or which team makes a big play on special teams. I think that's what it's going to come down to.
All right. Well, then I think it's time for our hashtag one hot take. This is where we ask you what your one hot take is for Sunday's game between the Dolphins and the Browns. We want one hot take. Let me know what you think that should be. I'll tell you, we posed that question in the Dolphins Talk Extra Discord, and we got some responses. So let me share some of those with you. First off, before I do this, we got an incredible comment from Fish Pilot here. An absolutely incredible one. Fish Pilot says, hot takes are hard with this team because predicting anything shitty to happen isn't a hot take, and predicting something good to happen is ridiculous. That's why it's a hot take. Fish Pilot.
Well, ridiculous, ridiculous is one thing. Hot take is one thing. Ridiculous is another. And that's the point he was making.
Well, Misha Rohn says their hot take is losing coach gets fired. And he includes a fire emoji, which we love to see.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I like it. Let's see what else we got. We've got Timbo says Myles Garrett has a career best day. I don't know that that's necessarily a hot take, but it's a take. How about this one from Mark Nelson? The Browns say, hell no, you're not going to suck worse than us and hand our Dolphins a win. Patrick Mullins' hot take is Mike McDaniel gets fired after the game. I don't know that that's a hot take, but whatever. Jamie says Tua in the press conference calls out his teammates for failing to come to player meetings because they're sat at home on the couch eating potato chips. Oh my. Fish Pilot says Tua, his actual hot take is Tua sacked 6 or more times. I don't know that that's even really that hot of a take. Alex Pena says Dolphins win, taking us out of a top 5 pick. Al Craig 23 with a very cold take here. Another ugly Sunday. Anjuna Abel says Waddle goes for 125 receiving yards and a touchdown. Bonnie says I was almost right last week. I said Tua scores winning touchdown in final seconds for the win, except it was the final minute, and we all know how that ended. I'll double down on it this week. He owes his team an apology gift. He did apologize earlier this week. It sounded like he was a scolded child who was told to march out there and apologize to everybody, but He did apologize. John says Dolphins win and there's a Super Bowl victory atmosphere with the owner and coaching staff. That's amazing. I love that idea. Let's see. And yeah, those are the ones that we've got there in the Discord. We also had a couple just on the main Patreon. Randy Rogers says Ross has a breakdown when the defense followed by a Tua interception lose the game. And Zach Greenleaf says #tank to be a better effing organization. And then Carlos just asked a question. Are the Dolphins better off losing the game so the inevitable starting over can begin now? I mean, we're kind of on the record as both saying that, yeah, this team needs to lose as many games as possible for a number of reasons. One, because it'll be easier to clean house. And two, because, well, they just need it. Brain, what's your hot take?
I think the Dolphins defense holds the Browns to 1 touchdown in this game. Actually, it's not even the Dolphins hold the Browns to 1 touchdown in this game. The 1 touchdown the Browns score is going to be on special teams. Elijah Campbell is going to miss this game. He's been the Dolphins' best special teams player, the best tackler on special teams. Dolphins give up, whether it's a kickoff return or a punt return, they give up a long return touchdown. They end up losing. Well, I'm putting the cart before the horse there, but they're going to give up a long touchdown in the return game. It's going to be the only touchdown that they give up.
All right, that's a hot take. Let's see what we got here from the people in the chat. Jordan Murray says Trader gets a pick 6. That would be something. Troy says Tua throws 2 picks against the number 3 defense. Anthony Pelea says Devon goes over 100 yards again. And David DeGraffenreid says the Browns quarterback gets 100 yards rushing. How about that?
I'll make somebody else beat you. If it happens, it happens.
I'm going to mix it up a little bit this week. And no, I'm not. I'm going to say Alec Ingold receiving touchdown. That is my hot take for Sunday. All right, prediction time. What are your final score predictions for Dolphins Browns on Sunday? Brain, you're up first. What do you got? What is your score prediction?
I kind of spoiled it. They're going to give up 1 touchdown. It's going to be on special teams. Dolphins lose a close, low-scoring game. Probably throw a pick at the end of the game, trying to come back to tie the game or take the lead. Browns win 16-13.
16-13 Browns. All right, interesting. I think the road to a Dolphins loss is a lot clearer to me than the road to a Dolphins win. And let me do a quick check of the old weather forecast here before I make my official prediction, because I think that is going to come. Not Cleveland, Mississippi. I'm looking for Cleveland, Ohio. I didn't even know there was a Cleveland, Mississippi. Here we go. Cleveland, Ohio. Let's take a look at the 10-day forecast here. The weather for Sunday says high of 68, low of 51 with rain and wind likely. So it looks like very likely to be rainy with winds in like the 20 mile an hour range. So it's going to be a windy day. It's going to be a rainy day right on the lake in Cleveland. And that does not make for a good formula for the Miami Dolphins, particularly because I see them struggling to run the ball on this team. So I'm going to say that Cleveland is going to win this game, and I think I'm going to say they're going to win it kind of easily. Give me the Browns to win this game 26-13.
Wow.
26-13.
So you're taking the over.
Is the over? What's the line?
I'm
38 and a half.
I think I see 37 and a half. It might be 38 and a half. I don't know. Where do you see? I mean, I'm looking at ESPN just because I've got that up. I don't know that that's necessarily the best book to look at, but based on, I think it's at 37 and a half.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Then I guess I'm taking the over.
I would smash the under. I absolutely smash the under.
Well, there it is. So if you're going to go to MyBookie and use the promo code DolphinsTalk with your bet back bonus token, smash the under. There it is. There's Brain's pick. Let us know in the comments. What do you think? What are your score predictions? I'm looking at some of the ones that we've got as they're coming in. Anthony says 17-13 Fins. Jordan Murray says Cleveland 18, Miami 17. So let us know in the comments if you've got thoughts on the final score of this one. That is going to wrap us up for this episode of the Same Old Dolphin Show. If you are a Dolphins Talk Extra subscriber, hop on over to the Patreon because we've got our bonus segment coming up next, right after this. So you can catch us over there. We're going to be talking a little Major League Baseball. We'll also go around the league and make our picks for the week. So lots of good stuff over there. Once again, a reminder, check out caneswear.com. Make sure you are at MyBookie. Visit DolphinsTalk.com each and every day. Subscribe to the Dolphins Talk YouTube channel. Smash the thumbs up button on this video. We appreciate it very much if you would do that. And of course, make sure also shout out to everybody on the I Am a Miami Dolphin fan Facebook page run by the fantastic Carlos Hernandez. We didn't shout you at the beginning of the show, but we're shouting you out now. So make sure you're checking out all of those folks. We will be back in your ears on Monday, looking back on Sunday's game. However it happens and whatever fallout there may be, we're going to have you covered here at the Same Old Dolphin Show and DolphinsTalk.com. So for Aaron the Brain, that's going to wrap us up. We'll talk to you again next time. Take care of yourselves and each other. And as always, go Dolphins!
Kind of wanted to pick a tie.